are Locked On Lakers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, the Lakers come out red hot. The Celtics dominate the third quarter, and the Celtics show the Lakers where they are world champions. We talk about it all on the Locked On Lakers Postcast. I'm Dave Palet, again, 30-year vet, Southern California broadcaster, huge Laker fan. And again, the joy of my broadcasting career was covering the Lakers during the good times in the 90s and the 2000s with Kobe and Shaq. And of course, right now I'm enjoying my time with you as we're talking Laker basketball after these games. Even though tonight's not one of those nights we feel so great because we saw the Lakers 8-game winning streak come to an end. Lakers lose 111-101 to the Boston Celtics. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All right, disappointing night for the Lakers, and overall for Laker fans, we expected so much more. Again, you can get this show and you can get every Laker show that we have in Locked On. We can get them anywhere you get your podcasts, also YouTube, you name it. You basically, we're available all the time. So if you want Brian and Andy, who will give you Laker talk every single day, those guys are available for you. And again, I'm here for your postcast. But Lakers lose tonight, 111-101. We'll break the game down. We'll start from where we thought things went wrong and what the Lakers need to do to get better. Also, there's an injury to LeBron James that we hope he doesn't miss much time. As we talked about in the last show, getting Austin Reeves back and getting this team in a position where they can basically get with Luka, get with Austin Reeves, get with LeBron, get Rui back, get Jackson Hayes, who's now out, get him back, get the guys that are going to be on the court the most, to get them polished, ready to go for the postseason, to get them ready to show that they are a championship caliber team. So this Laker team tonight, again, we find out Jackson Hayes isn't playing. Vanderbilt's the one who jumps in, and he gets a chance to play for the Lakers as a starter, which is something we never see. At the same time, he added a spark, and he was great defensively, just like he always is. But for the Lakers, it wasn't enough. And Jackson Hayes, as much as he's not an offensive threat, he is a rim protector. The one thing about Boston, you really don't need a bunch of rim protectors when you're facing a team like the Celtics, who basically live off the three-point shot. So, your starting lineup, as I said, you had Vanderbilt, you had Dorian Finney-Smith, who's playing for Rui in the starting lineup. You have Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Luka. And it was interesting the way the game started because Luka really wasn't that involved in the first quarter. As a matter of fact, it didn't seem like Luka was into the game. Not saying that he wasn't into the game, but just either it didn't seem like the game plan, which is weird, which I don't believe that's the case, or the same type of energy just wasn't there we've seen from the Lakers during this 8-game winning streak. So overall, with the Lakers, they got off to a good start like they've been doing in the first quarter. Lakers jumped out to a 5-0 lead. At one point, they led 12-4. Celtics called a timeout. Lakers were holding a 14-6 advantage when this happened. The timeout worked for Boston. They made really a couple three-pointers in a row, and next thing you know, the score is 20-17. Both teams were shooting extremely well. The first quarter felt like NBA Finals. I mean, it was fast. It was physical. It was a different level of basketball, much like the game we saw the other night when the Lakers faced the New York Knicks. It felt like playoff basketball. This definitely felt like playoff basketball, NBA Finals basketball. And the officials let them go. I mean, there was a lot of banging around, and really players on both sides were complaining, saying, man, this thing is, a situation where I'm getting hit every time I have the ball. And I think every single guy on the floor was basically getting hit. There was major contact. And we spoke about this on Thursday night after the next game. The NBA can only push this so far, in my opinion, because what's going to happen is eventually you're going to have serious injuries to someone that's a star player, and this league's about stars, or you're going to have fights, which is the worst thing ever to happen to the NBA. When we all remember the Malice at the Palace, they don't want that. They want to get away from the days where guys are fighting. And when you keep letting these guys go and they're pushing each other, it's only a matter of time. If it's physical now in the regular season, and you want to have the playoffs be much like it is during the regular season, so there are no surprises, was a lot more at stake. All of a sudden, I think you're going to see the tempers start to come out. Again, I'm not the one that decides it, but to me, it's a dangerous game the NBA plays, especially when you look at the payrolls and the salaries of what your superstars make. All it takes is for a superstar to be out because the officials let him go. Don't want to sound like a crybaby because my friends who are Celtic fans writing me the entire night. LeBron's a crybaby. I'm like, LeBron's 40 years old, almost has a triple-double in the first half. So I disagree with that. I'm just saying it's a matter as far as the strength of your league. Celtics eventually tie the game at 23 on an Al Horford dunk. 1:59 remaining in the first quarter. Celtics took a 27-26 lead after 2 Luka turnovers. Kind of to my point that Luka, we know, has turnovers, but the laziness of the turnovers was disappointing. Lakers shot 56% in the first quarter, 50% from three-point range, 6-12. We'll take that. Celtics shot 54% from the field, 67% from three-point range. They made 6 of 9. Lakers were led in the quarter by Dorian Finney-Smith, 8 points, and really kind of went quiet offensively after that. LeBron James, 6. Jordan Goodwin had 6 off the bench. Luka had 4 in 10 minutes. But the Celtics were led by Jayson Tatum's 13, Jaylen Brown 10. Now, if you remember the first time these two teams met in January, the Celtics basically got run right out of crypto. And the reason I always thought was that Jayson Tatum kind of too much of a slow starter. And Jayson Tatum was extremely active. And Jayson Tatum was really, really good. And it's one of those, if you're like me and you look back at old drafts and you go, where did this guy go? And we all know the Lakers could have had Jayson Tatum, but they decided to go another direction. Jayson Tatum would have been a perfect Laker, right? Love Kobe Bryant, grew up a huge Laker fan. And often you see him wearing the purple wristband when he's playing for the Celtics because of his love for Kobe and his love for the Lakers. But Jayson Tatum showed why he is one of the best players in the NBA. Jaylen Brown had 10 as well in the first quarter for Boston. So out of the 33 points, Jayson Tatum and Brown had 23 of those 33 in the first quarter. Rebounds, Celtics out-rebounded the Lakers 11-9. Assists, Celtics had more assists, 11-10. Bench points, Lakers, they thrived. Lakers had 10 bench points. Celtics only had 0. Turnovers, Lakers had 2, Celtics had 2. So our turnover battle, we're doing pretty good right there. Second quarter, Celtics, they outscored the Lakers 25-21. We always talk about the Lakers wanting to get to at least 30 points a quarter. Well, they get that knocked down to 21, and you're going, okay, what's happening here? The Celtics making adjustments or the Lakers' shots just not falling? Lakers took a 43-42 lead on Luka three-pointer, and halfway through the second quarter, LeBron almost had a triple-double at this point. I mean, he was doing great outside of missing a bunch of free throws. LeBron was doing great. He had 8 points. He had 8 rebounds. He had 7 assists. LeBron was 0 for 3 from the line. But basically halfway through the second quarter, he was on his way to a triple-double that just never happened. At the half, the Celtics, they take a 58-54 lead, and so the Lakers are down. We all know the Lakers have that crazy stat when leading at the half. Well, the Lakers weren't leading at the half in this one, and that basically was one of those where saying, okay, we're playing catch-up tonight. That's basically what the Lakers are going to end up doing. Lakers will end up playing catch-up and see where things go from there. But for this Laker team, it was a disappointing first half for the fact they had a big lead. They had all the momentum, and then all of a sudden the Lakers basically fall on their face and things don't go their way. And the Boston Celtics do what Boston does. I mean, we always talk about how the Western Conference is that much better than the East, and yet for the Lakers, they didn't play well with the Boston. I mean, it was kind of, I think, a true test to see what would happen if they got up in the NBA Finals. Now, we know the Lakers dominated the Celtics the first time at Crypto, as we said earlier, but in Boston, primetime game, the Celtics played fantastic basketball, and we'll talk about where this game turned. But overall, this was not the performance I think the Lakers wanted. And then to find out later on, there's a serious injury that the Lakers now, you're talking about losing more guys who are starters, more guys that you expect to get big-time minutes to help carry this team. We'll get into that as far as what happened in the second half with this team in just a second. First, I want to mention the people over at Prize Picks. Right now, basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you pick just more or less, at least 1 or 2 player projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Again, 2 player projections, and you can win 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use, available in over 30 states, and lets you mix in and match projections across different sports. Building lineups this week, you could say I'm taking Luka to get more than 25. I'm taking Jayson Tatum to get 40. All of a sudden, you're winning. Okay, it's quick and it's easy. Fast payouts. Taco Tuesday deals every Tuesday. Prize Picks discount select player projections up to 25%, giving even more value to your lineup. So download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right. So where are the Lakers and what do they do as far as second halftime, and how did things go from there, and where were the Lakers going to go? Also want your comments throughout the show as well. Curious to know what you saw. What did you see as far as the Lakers future, the Boston Celtics? How do they match up? What frustrates you right now about this Laker team, and where do they need to get better? Because the season's coming to an end. The Lakers obviously have a game coming up against the Nets, a team they should take care of, but we've seen the Lakers lose to teams that they should basically win, and then they all of a sudden they fall on the wrong side of things. They got the Milwaukee Bucks coming up this week. It's a busy and important week for the Lakers. Now, the half was, we told you, Celtics, they were leading 58-54. And again, this is about as good as it got for the Lakers because things got really ugly in the third. The Lakers shot 48%, 40% from three-point range, 8 of 20. We'll take that. Free throws, very frustrating. Lakers, again, I don't know what the issue is on why this Laker team, number one, always leads in turnovers and free throws. It's hit and miss. You just don't know what you're going to get game in and game out, which is scary because it would stink to lose a big-time playoff game or an NBA Finals game because you can't hit your free throws. It's the same distance it is since these guys are growing up. And these guys who have nothing to do but be NBA players that can't make their free throws is incredible. Celtics shot 48% from the field in the first half, 41% from three-point range. They're 9 of 22. It's what the Celtics do. Celtics shoot great from three-point range. And free throws, believe it or not, the Celtics stunk too. Celtics at home on their goals were 3 of 6. They're shooting 50% as well. At the half, LeBron James had a tremendous first half. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Luka had 11. Austin Reeves had 9. And Dorian Finney-Smith, again, stayed at 8, but he had 8 points. Celtics were led by Jayson Tatum's 22 at the half. Jaylen Brown, he had 16. Rebounds, Celtics still held the advantage, 24-22. Assists, Celtics held the advantage, 15-13. Bench points, Lakers had 10 in the first quarter, didn't do anything in the second quarter with that bench. Celtics, who had 0, ended up with 5 in the first half. And turnovers, Lakers, of course, they lose the turnover battle like they do every single game. Lakers had 5, Boston Celtics had 4. Again, Lakers not leading at the half. That's always the stat we talk about because the Lakers are unique when leading at the half. They're 36-5 on the season, but they weren't leading at the half, so the stat kind of goes right out the window for this team. Third quarter, this is where things fell apart, and this is where you might have turned the broadcast off if you're a Laker fan. Things got ugly really, really quick, and the Lakers didn't have an answer for it. There's nothing the Lakers could do. Might have been the worst quarter of the entire season for the Lakers as far as what happened in the third. And again, nationally televised game, shots weren't falling, just nothing was working. I mean, it made you think about everything that goes wrong in Boston over all those years when the Lakers take on the Celtics. You think about the leprechaun sitting on the rim and knocking the ball away, but nothing would fall for the Lakers. Lakers came out flat to start the third quarter. Boston outscored them to start the quarter 10-2. Celtics increased their lead to 15 on Derek White's layup after a LeBron turnover. Celtics opened up a 19-point lead on Jaylen Brown's corner 3. The Lakers were held to just 2 points. 2 points in the first 6 minutes of the third quarter. That's amazing for an NBA game, let alone the Lakers with all these stars and future Hall of Famers. You're going, how does that happen to be held to 2? Celtics outscored the Lakers 19-2 to start the third quarter is how it ended up, giving the Celtics a 77-56 advantage. Luka scored 9 points for the Lakers in the quarter. He was the only one scoring. LeBron James held to just 2. And so the Lakers had a terrible third quarter, outscored in the quarter 29-13. 13 points. The goal is to get 30 for this team, and they got 13 points in the third quarter. Whatever the halftime speech was by J.J. Redick, throw it right out the window. Never go back to that halftime speech again because whatever it was bad luck. It didn't work. Fourth quarter, if you hung around like I did, you watch the Lakers make a run, and you're sitting there going, okay, this Laker team's a little bit different. Right when I thought I was going to give up on this team and not believe what this Laker team could do, Lakers cut the lead down to 92-85. And you're going, wait a second, we're within reach. 5:06 remaining in the game. Lakers cut the lead down to 96-92 on Luka free throws. And then the bad news, we get word that LeBron's not coming back. LeBron isn't coming back for the remainder of the game because he's a groin injury, wasn't able to play basically the entire fourth quarter. And because the Lakers play against the Nets on Monday, you're going to expect to not see LeBron James in the lineup as well. So the Lakers end up losing this 111-101. LeBron James is hurt. We don't know how long he's going to be hurt. Again, it's a game against the Nets that the Lakers should win on Monday, but then they have the Milwaukee Bucks later on in the week in Milwaukee. That's going to be tough as well, and you want to see the Lakers get that. You don't want to see the Lakers start this road trip out losing 2 of the first 3 games, and so now we're waiting to see what is the story with LeBron. We just got Austin Reeves back. Jackson Hayes isn't able to go. Rui isn't able to go, and now LeBron might not be able to go. Now, the good thing is this roster is pretty deep. The bad news is it's LeBron James. I mean, he is the backbone of your franchise. Luka's just getting his feet underneath him, just getting his win. But I'm sure Luka can step in on Monday and Luka can get his 38 points and carry this team the best they can. Austin Reeves, expect him to have a big game because Austin Reeves always, when he gets more touches, things go well. Maybe Dalton Knecht has a big game, Gabe Vincent, other guys you can name, but you can pull that off for a game, maybe 2 games. But after a while, it's going to show. If you don't have LeBron James, it's just a different team. It's just a different team, and it's one of those situations where you're kind of scared to see what's next for the Lakers. But the Lakers losing 111-101, and so many things you can look at, but basically it all comes down to the third quarter. They're just basically being run right out of the arena. And if the Lakers would have just played a little bit better in the third quarter, not only the Lakers in this game, Lakers are winning this game. And it don't want to sound like a fan, that is, man, you're such a homer for this Laker team. But come on, you just got smoked in the third quarter. How often do you see that a team basically, crushes someone 29-13? If the Lakers would have just been outscored by 9, the Lakers it feels like a different game. If the Lakers make their free throws, it feels like a different game. And so very frustrating. And with all the talk that it was going to be the 2 superstars of the Lakers, LeBron and Luka, that carried this team, it was the 2 superstars for the Celtics that carried the team. And that was the big story right there. It was Jayson Tatum. It was Jaylen Brown combined for 71 points, 71 over the 111 of the Boston Celtics. And those guys are great. Jaylen Brown obviously wasn't on the Olympic team this past summer, but it was one of those where you could see the argument of how was he not on that team. And Jaylen Brown's an outstanding player, NBA Finals MVP. There's nothing about Jaylen Brown's game or even as a person that I dislike. I mean, he's the kind of guy, very smart. They say he's the smartest guy IQ-wise in the NBA. He went to Cal. He's supposed to be extremely bright, doesn't mess around, plays extremely hard. Defensively was outstanding, offensively outstanding. And most of us have watched Jayson Tatum for years, from his time at Duke to, of course, we go back and think, could the Lakers once have drafted him, and they didn't take advantage of it. But Jayson Tatum was a different player tonight than he was in their first meeting at Crypto, where really he came out kind of slow and let the game come to him instead of him taking control of the game. And that's, I think, for the Boston Celtics fans, they know this team goes around Jayson Tatum. And if Jayson Tatum wants to dictate the tempo of the game, the tempo of his game, that Celtics team is going to be much better. So, again, the defending world champions, right now you look at that Boston Celtics team and say, it doesn't look like they're going anywhere because they're extremely dangerous. And we can see why the Celtics are as good as they are and why odds are Celtics are going to repeat. Before I get to your comments, I want to mention the people over at FanDuel once again. Again, FanDuel, when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get on the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or you want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay. Example, if you love losing, FanDuel's betting features, because it's the moment of the excitement of the game. It keeps you involved, whether you're backing your favorite team late or you're looking for a rally, picking up players to hit clutch threes. You never miss a beat with FanDuel. The app is easy to use when you win, and you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, let's get to some of your comments as well before we dig deeper into this box score and see what's next for the Lakers as well. Are you frustrated with the way the game went tonight? Did you think this Laker team was better than what you saw tonight, and kind of disappointed a little bit. So it was an 8-game win streak, but when you're facing the best of the best, you didn't compete the way you thought you were going to be, or you're saying it's just one night after a long day of travel that the Lakers are going to be okay, and there's no reason to panic. Kind of want to know what you think about this Laker team heading towards the postseason, because the postseason is basically 5 to 6 weeks away, and we're going to see it for real, where every single game you're biting your fingernails and you're wondering how far can this team go. So again, I appreciate you guys joining me on a Saturday night. It's always great when the Lakers are doing national television games, and the Lakers have always played well in these games this season. Craig, good to see you. It says their stars outperform our stars. Man, that hurts to say, Craig, but you're absolutely right. I mean, right? We love Luka and we love LeBron, but Jayson and Jaylen, they outplayed us. They did, Craig says, why don't we play a center tonight? I think a lot of it had to do with the idea that the Celtics are a team that loves to shoot the threes, and they decided to go smaller and quicker. And that was, I think, their goal right there. Go smaller and quicker. And for the Lakers and JJ Redick, JJ Redick has done a fantastic job as far as moving the right pieces in and out, has done a really good job with this team. So overall, when you look at what the Lakers try to do, I don't think it was as big of a problem as the shots didn't fall. Craig, I love actually all your comments here. Morris should have played. I'm a Morris fan, especially in a physical game. I'm a fan. I'm one of those, like, if you're going to give it to us, we're going to give it to you. And you never want to be part of the team that doesn't play hard or doesn't match when things are physical. Even if you are over physical, let's say you're a guy that gets 3 or 4 quick fouls. Look, there's no limit basically on how physical those fouls are, unless you're a fool and you get a technical for it because it looks malicious. But Morris is one of those guys. Morris is one of those guys that kind of, as you say, in hockey, kind of the enforcer. I wouldn't mind in this game to see Morris on the court. I'm with you. I'm with you. And so, again, it's frustrating. Flying back to the East Coast affected them. It could have. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have done it, and I know they fly a lot more comfortable than we do, but I'm one of those guys that when I fly back to the East Coast, I do. I don't rebound well, and it's funny. I was just watching this whole deal on the Dodgers, how they hired all these sleep therapists to tell them how to beat jet lag. I understand it's only a 5-hour flight, but man, you played really one of your most exhausting games of the season on Thursday against the New York Knicks. Now you're going to Boston on a 5-hour flight. It's a long flight. A couple of years ago, I made the trip. I flew from Southern California to Boston, got in early, and I was like ready to go. I've never been to Boston in my life. Number one, overrated city. If you've never been to Boston, it is crazy small. And it's weird. Boston, you can walk from one end of the city to the other end of the city in 3 hours. It's not LA. It's not New York. It's not Chicago. I was really surprised how small Boston was. But when the plane landed and I got there, and I think I walked into a Dunkin' Donuts because that's what everyone else seems to do. And I was beat. I was beat after about 1 hour and a half. And I walked into the library at Harvard because that's closest where my hotel was. And I fell asleep on a chair. And I think I was there for about 4 hours. And then I got the tap on the shoulder. Hey, you got to get out of here. You can't sleep in here. And so I literally tell people, hey, I went to Harvard and I got kicked out. That's kind of the way it went. But look, I'm not an NBA player, but I was exhausted. I don't want to, excuses on those. Man, maybe it's real. We see our NFL teams go East Coast all the time and seem like they can't play at 10 a.m. in the morning. But for this Laker team, who knows? The shots weren't falling the third, and I can't explain why they weren't falling. It was just extremely, extremely frustrating to see. BC says it was embarrassing, as far as, what happened with Horford, who, actually played an outstanding game. You got that old man out there who's been in the league forever. We got an old man too, and we're amazed by him. Horford's not LeBron, but man, he played a great game. If you're a Boston Celtics fan, how can you not love the way he played tonight? Is that Aggie Pride for Life says Luka can't beat the Celtics in 7. That's why he's in LA. I'm not throwing the towel in. I'm not saying this team can't win. I think this team can win. Again, I think the big thing for the Lakers is they need to get their guys who are going to be the ones who get the most minutes playing the most, and they need time. I mean, that's why when these injuries are happening right now, we're like, well, when are they going to catch up? When are they going to figure out what makes them play their best? Greg disappointed in JJ's coaching and substituting. again, he needs to see it too. JJ Redick and his staff needs to see when the game's on the line and the most important parts of the game. And of course, you have to give Luka and LeBron rest. Which guys are going to step up? And when everybody is rested and they have their win, what is the best combination in the most crucial parts? Meaning, to stop a run like we saw in the third quarter by the Boston Celtics, or the fourth quarter when you need baskets and you also need defensive holds. What is the best situation for JJ Redick? Until we get everybody on the floor, we aren't going to know what it looks like. And the Lakers need time. I mean, when I say time, I would love to see at least a month of these guys having everybody at full health. I don't know if we're going to see that. I don't know if we're even going to get 2 weeks of that. But the Lakers are better when you have Rui in the game. You have Jackson Hayes in the game. You have a healthy LeBron. You have a healthy Austin Reeves. You have Luka. I just want to see what it looks like. I want to see what it looks like with all these guys well rested, getting open shots. And I thought they played as best they could, but that game was fast and that game was physical tonight, and it did not go the Lakers' way. Looking at the box score for the Lakers, the game high was Luka. Luka had 34 points in 37 minutes. Again, Luka hardly did anything in the first quarter, still ended up with 34 points. Shot 50% from the field, 11 of 22, 50% from three-point range, 5 of 10, 8 rebounds, only 3 assists. That's not very Luka-like to only have 3 assists, but that's what the game dictated. LeBron, again, was on his way to a triple-double, didn't get it. LeBron had 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 9 assists in 35 minutes. LeBron would have got the triple-double if he was able to play the majority of the fourth quarter, but the groin injury pulled him out. And overall, individual stats don't mean anything, but maybe with LeBron on the floor, the Lakers would have had a better chance. Dorian Finney-Smith with 8 points in the first quarter, didn't do anything after that. Didn't do anything. He finished with 8 points. 8 points in 36 minutes for him. 4 rebounds, 3 of 8 shooting from the field, 2 3-pointers that he hit. And he thought it was going to be a decent offensive night after the first quarter, but basically it just stalled. Nothing happened there. Austin Reeves, it was good to see him come back because he had a terrible shooting night against the Knicks on Thursday, but in 39 minutes, Austin Reeves had 16 points, 5 of 12 from the field, 4 of 7 3-point range, made both of his free throws. And for the Lakers, speaking of free throws, they shot 64%. 64% free throw shooting team is not going to get it done. I don't care what quality you are. You can be the Portland Trail Blazers. You can be the Utah Jazz. That number right there is a terrible number. That number is not acceptable in this league. And I'm sure JJ Redick feels the same way about it. You should feel the same way as a fan. Lakers shot 45% from the field, not bad. 35% three-point range overall, not bad. I mean, for this Laker team. But if you look at it and you say, okay, they missed 6 free throws, that brings the score up, right? And a little bit closer. LeBron stays healthy. I'm telling you, it's not as bad as you think. I think the Lakers, they make their free throws. LeBron plays the entire time. It's a different feeling. If this was a 7-game series, I don't sit here and go home and say, Lakers don't have a chance. I just didn't feel that way. I understand Boston. They're missing Kristaps Porzingis, but at the same time, it didn't matter. If he would have played tonight, this game was all about Jayson Tatum. He was the one that was going to sit there and basically make his mark. I think a couple of reasons. One is nationally televised game. 2 is he didn't play extremely well in the first matchup. And 3, you can say whatever you want. If I'm Jayson Tatum, I'm a little bit upset about the way the Olympics went last summer and saying there are games where I didn't play. And I'm one of the best players in this league. He made a comment a couple of weeks ago about how he's ready to be the face of the NBA. And he's the only one. I mean, as great as Jayson Tatum is, nobody says Jayson Tatum is the face of the NBA, unless you're a Boston fan or a Duke fan. Nobody says that. They all talk about who's the face of this league and who will it be when LeBron's gone or Steph Curry. Right now, Jayson Tatum, they haven't said that. You got to win a couple more titles. You got to do some amazing things, hit some big-time shots to basically win a title for Jayson Tatum to get that role. But, he says, hey, give me the crown. I want it. I'm ready to wear it. Okay. For the Lakers, again, when you look at their bench, Dalton Knecht, 9 points. Obviously, if you listen to the show, I'm a big Dalton Knecht fan. I wish the 3-pointers would have fallen a little bit more. He was 4 of 6 shooting in 23 minutes. He just made 1 3-pointer in 3 attempts. And Jordan Goodwin, I mean, you got to love him. I mean, for the fact that he's all hustle, hits open threes. He's a guy that is a complete underdog, and yet he's getting crucial minutes for this Laker team. Gabe Vincent had a big night against the Knicks. Tonight, not so much. Only 1 of 4 shooting from the field and missed all 3 of his 3-point attempts. So that was frustrating as well for this Laker team. So, yeah, as we get ready for the game on Monday against the Nets, the Lakers, we want to see them win. We want to see them be in a top 4 spot, of course, as the playoffs begin. The Lakers, though, with the loss today, they fall to the number 3 seed. So they're still in the top 4 spot, but the Denver Nuggets have passed them up. Lakers 11.5 games behind the Thunder. Nuggets are 11 back. So we're a half game back behind the Nuggets. We have the Nuggets coming up really soon again. And you pay attention to how this thing's going to go. But the Lakers showed they could beat the Nuggets a few weeks ago. And if the Lakers played their best basketball, I honestly still believe the Lakers could play with anyone and still win the NBA championship. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm not throwing the Lakers away. I believe they still have a chance. Disappointing loss because it's the Celtics. I've been looking forward to this game for a long time. I bet a big dinner against my neighbor because he's a Boston guy, and last thing he said to me right before tip-off was loser buys dinner, and I guess I'm buying dinner. So that's going to stink. What can you do? We come out, we do it again, right? Roll the ball out there and we do it again. Best part about the NBA, Major League Baseball, that kind of thing. There's another game pretty quickly. And for the Lakers, their next game coming up in 2 days against the Nets. After that game, I'll be here with you, and we will talk more basketball about the Lakers and the Nets, and we'll figure this whole thing out. But hopefully the Lakers get a win. Hopefully LeBron is healthy and he's ready to go. And if he's not healthy, hopefully he's ready to go against the Bucks. Thank you so much for joining me on a Saturday night, talking more Laker basketball with you. Again, Laker Postcast, Locked On Los Angeles. And again, if you want to follow the Lakers every single day, Brian and Andy are there with you every single day. Otherwise, my name is Dave Palet. You can follow me on social media. And we're talking Laker basketball throughout the end of this season. Hopefully the end of the season is in June. Have a good night, everybody.